Hello and welcome to the first day of the 13 days of Halloween. I am your host, Mr. Reaper, and we have quite a video this time. Quite a film to review, based on true events, all that fun stuff. More than enough to keep you intrigued. I believe I should let the first group of people the story revolves around, real people too I might add, introduce themselves. After all, it's more interesting as well as the film that will be covered, don't you think? Well, let's have a look, shall we?
Well, we've been called demonologists. It's one name for us. Ghost hunters, paranormal researchers.
Spooks.
Wackos.
But we prefer to be known simply as Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Ah yes, the Warrens. A loving family, paranormal investigators, demonologists and so forth. To think, they've been keeping a file like this hidden for so long. Now, when this movie came out, it was a bit of a shock. There were even priests, believe it or not, giving blessings to those who went to the theatres. I was wondering where mine was, to be precise. But enough about that. The film does a good job of telling us this unique story, set in 1971 until about 1981, a decade. The film may only take place in about a year to about 6 months, it never really says. But the real Perrin family, who we'll meet, or you will meet if you watch the film, they went through a lot. Now, they did say the house had moments where it was quite lovely, and then, of course, other moments where it was a nightmare from hell. I wonder why. But, to be fair, there's so much to see and do with this movie. The plot is built very efficiently, and the fact is that it's based mostly on real life. You can't get much more, creepier than that. Still, I have to admit myself, I'm impressed. And that's not an easy thing to do. Still, you're probably saying, nothing bad happened to these people, right? I hear someone going, right? Sorry, I have to bust your bubble. It's not going to be pretty. So again, it's not exactly an easy thing for this family. The Warrens come into this case as the investigators and also trying to prove this to the church. It's part of your good plot. But remember, this really happened, so that's what makes this more terrifying in my opinion. The story between the two groups is unique in its own right, moving forward, trying to document, while also at the same time trying to give this family actual hope. Hard thing to do considering the circumstances, and I have to agree. A family can only do so much. The Warrens are that great line. They're the line in the sand, but even they become victims in one form or another. And, eventually, Even with their presence, the entity has decided it's had enough. It's no longer going to just simply sit idly by. And therefore, the battle between the Warrens to save the parents against this evil continues to rise. It's quite a story. And of course, it's not just one little thing against the parents. Even the children themselves will suffer terrible. And the Warrens, what makes you think they're going to be spared? In fact, it has been through research that many paranormal investigators, they are sometimes quite often scared, threatened as well. It is bad when the people who are trying to help you become the targets as well. But the parents were the primary targets. And unfortunately, this creature, this spirit, this demon, it seems to have a will of its own, and it is not afraid to show itself. Well, that's pretty bad. You're probably asking, it can't be that bad. Well, I think it can. After all, this next sequence pretty much shows it off pretty effectively, if you want my opinion.
Nancy?
As you can see, they definitely go through a lot. It's never so simple. The film continues to ratchet up the scares, the thrills, the action, and even the threat. And we really don't get to see our villainous quite often in the film. They appear to that rule of the less you see, the more terrifying. It's quite a good rule. My rating for the film is a solid 8 out of 10 with a must-see. I highly recommend you watch the film. And it's quite good. So that's why I'm trying to show as little as I can, while giving you a good overview. The film is excellent. The film is good. Plus terrifying. I mean, why not? It's Halloween. Aren't you supposed to terrify yourself a bit? Now, I will say this, though. I would not go visit this house. Bother what remains of the Warren family or the Perrin family. Please leave them be. And I believe this last sequence will sum up our video quite well. Please, have fun. Enjoy your holidays. Remember, this is just day 1 of the 13 days of Halloween. I'll be seeing you later. Indeed.
He'd like to meet with us tomorrow. There's a case in Long Island he'd like to discuss.
Really?